The only thing certain in life is death and taxes. Americans, like most people on earth, hate taxes. In fact, I'm pretty sure even IRS agents hate taxes. The only people who love taxes are politicians and accountants. Accountants because they earn their income from helping people or businesses calculate and file their taxes. At least you get value from them as they can save you money or an audit. Politicians love taxes because they steal your hard-earned money and spend it on their own pet projects, corruption, yes, I said it, or to fund government spending. This is forced on you, of course, regardless of if you benefit or not. In this video, we will cover the 10 best states who offer their residents the lowest tax burdens. We're going to focus on the 5 most common taxes. These are corporate income tax, individual income tax, sales tax, property tax, and unemployment insurance tax. Enough of the pre-flight talk, let's get ready for liftoff. Number 10, Indiana. The Hoosier state and home to the Indy 500 offers more than fast cars and racing. It is also ranked the 10th best state for tax burdens across these 5 categories. It is ranked number 12 in corporate income tax at 4.9%. The individual income tax is number 16 with a flat rate of 3.15%. For the state sales tax, they are ranked 18th overall, which is 7%, and they don't allow any local sales tax, which will be important when we look at most of the other states. Indiana is ranked 3rd in property tax, and this is one I'm familiar with. You see, JB the alien from outer space, I mean Canada, lives in Kentucky. My house is only about 5 minutes away from the Indiana border, and I know many people choose to buy real estate in Indiana instead of Kentucky to save money on taxes. They might work and shop in Kentucky, but they live in Indiana. So yes, people do move based on taxes. For unemployment insurance, they are just about as average as you can get at number 25. Number 9, North Carolina. Another racing state with fast cars and NASCAR also doesn't require a large tax burden from their residents. It's ranked the 9th best state for tax burdens, ranked number 5 in corporate income tax at 2.5%. The individual income tax is ranked number 15 with a flat rate of 4.75. Wait, did you get that? Is this some weird alien math? What are those Canadians smoking? How can Indiana be ranked 16th with a flat rate of 3.15% income tax, and North Carolina is ranked 15th with a 4.75%? This is the only time that I will explain these discrepancies, as you will just have to trust me in the future that I'm not smoking those Maple Leafs. Indiana charges a flat 3.15% tax with no deductions. North Carolina is 4.75%, however, they have a standard deduction of $12,750 for a single filer and $25,500 for married taxpayers. When you factor this in, North Carolina has a lower tax burden in many cases than Indiana. Let's move on. For the state sales tax, they are ranked 20th overall with a 4.75%. And unlike Indiana, they allow local sales tax, which has a max rate of 2.75%. Combined, this means certain cities, towns, or counties, the total sales tax could be as high as 7.5%. However, the average combined rate is 6.99%. This isn't alien math. This is just the difference between the max allowed and what you find most commonly. In the future, I will just tell you the state sales tax, the max local sales tax, and the combined average. North Carolina is ranked 12th best in the country in property tax and 6th in unemployment insurance. Number 8, Utah. Now this is pretty exceptional, as in a recent video, Utah was ranked number 2 best place to live in 2024. And on many other lists, they are number 1. So the fact that their crime and corrections, economy, healthcare, education, and opportunities are ranked so high, but their taxes are low, makes this one of the best states. The corporate income tax is 14th best in the United States, which is a flat rate of 4.85%. Its individual income tax is the same 4.85 flat rate, which is good for 11th best ranking in that category. The state sales tax is 21st with a 6.1% state sales tax and 2.95% local max rate, but combined the average is 7.19%. The Mormon state also has great property tax, which is number 8th, and their unemployment insurance is still better than average at 17th. Number 7, Nevada. The silver state sure does take a lot of gold and silver from tourists. However, it does offer its residents a low tax burden, good enough for 7th best in the country. Now, the corporate income tax is middle of the road as you can get, coming in at number 25. It doesn't have corporate income tax, but it does have a gross receipts tax on all gross sales, and that doesn't include any deductions. Its individual income tax is much better at the number 5 spot. Now, it is one of the many states that has no individual income tax, but it does have a gross receipts tax, and this is why it's number 5. You see, imagine you are a sole proprietor and own a small online t-shirt company. You could pass through your income and pay the 0% income tax, but you would still be responsible for the gross receipts tax, which can be avoided for certain businesses in other states. The sales tax is one of the worst in America, ranked 45th, with a 6.85% state sales tax, and the max local rate is 1.53%, with the average combined sales tax rate of 8.23%. Now, before you start to write off Nevada, you have to realize states need to generate money to pay for services, and in a state like Nevada, who gets millions and millions of tourists, this benefits the residents as the tourists are footing the bill for a lot of tax dollars. The property tax is 4th best, however, but its unemployment insurance is again very high at 45. Still, if you are an employee who owns real estate in Nevada, it's great for taxes. Number 6, New Hampshire. Following the same theme that high rankings in crime, education, healthcare, economy, and opportunities doesn't have to come with the expense of high taxes, New Hampshire was number 1 on the list of best places to live in 2024, and they are number 6 on the list for the lowest tax burdens. They don't get on this list because of their corporate income tax, however, they get there in spite of it. They are ranked 44th in that category with a punitive rate of 7.5%. Now, the individual income tax rate is much better at 10th with a flat 4% rate. However, this is only levied on interest and dividends income, so many people don't pay state income tax. So that's good. You know what's better than good? The best state sales tax on the planet. It gets the number 1 spot by charging no sales tax and no local sales tax. If you need or want to buy something and are close to New Hampshire, it pays to buy it there. But remember, we said states need to get money for spending from somewhere, and in New Hampshire, it's not just the corporate income tax. They are holders of the 43rd most expensive property taxes, and their unemployment insurance is 40th. Number 5, Montana. Known as the Treasure State or Big Sky Country, Montana is the 5th best in the U.S. for tax burden. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised it ranks this high as it has a bunch of average rankings, but I will try to explain how this happened. It's a little better than average in corporate income tax at number 23 with a 6.75%. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Montana is ranked 28th in individual income tax. However, unlike other states we have covered so far that either have no income tax or a flat rate income tax without standard deductions or with standard deductions, Montana has a tiered system ranging from as low as 1% and all the way up to 6.75% on the high end. The more you make, the more they take, I guess. It's third for sales tax, however, it doesn't have a state sales tax or a local tax. However, it does charge tax on certain items, like alcohol and tobacco, to name a few. To round out the tax burdens with a couple of better than average rankings, with 19th in property tax and 22nd in unemployment insurance. Number 4, Florida. There is more to the Sunshine State than sunshine and retirees. They have a very low tax burden in many categories. How about 11th in corporate income tax with a rate of 5.5%? Florida also shares the number 1 ranking for individual income tax as it has no state income tax. This is why they attract pro athletes who want to sign or be traded to a Florida-based team to save money on taxes. Imagine being traded from a California or even worse, a Canadian-based team to a Florida-based team. You might feel like you hit the lottery. Now, Florida's worst ranking is number 19 in sales tax, which is 6%, and the max local rate of 2%, with the average combined being 7.02%. But remember how Nevada has high sales tax to tax the tourists? Florida does the same. Florida has people from all across the world paying to fund government spending. Florida is the 13th cheapest property tax and the 4th best for unemployment insurance. Now you wonder why everybody is moving to Florida and not just retirees? Number 3, Alaska. The last frontier might be the most north state in America, but it doesn't have high taxes. Now, before we get into this, I must tell you, Alaska might be one of the most expensive states to live. Isolation equals high prices. I should know, I was born in Newfoundland, an island furthest east in North America that is part of Canada, and things are more expensive there too. The corporate income tax is close to average, ranked 26th, but that's not a flat rate. Businesses can pay from 2% up to 9.4%. However, the individual income tax is tied for first in the country with no state income tax. Alaska also scores good in sales tax, coming in at 5th. It doesn't have any state sales tax. However, the local max rate is 7.5%, but the combined average is 1.76. Now, I'm not sure if this is correct or not. If you know the answer, please leave it in the comments. But I believe some of those places with local sales tax up to 7.5% is work camps for mining or oil industries. And most of those employees live out of state and fly in for shift work. That's what I've heard anyways. Now, the property tax in Alaska is a little worse than average at 27th. However, their unemployment insurance is one of the worst in the country at 48th. If you make it in Alaska, you can make it anywhere. Number 2, South Dakota. Oh, South Dakota, the state that's been calling me ever since I visited the Black Hills. The state I plan to retire one day unless Tennessee steals my attention. What's so great about South Dakota besides natural beauty and some of the best roads to ride a motorcycle? Taxes. It requires the second least taxes from its residents. Let's start with a pair of number 1 rankings with no corporate or individual income tax. That means whether you have a big company or you're an employee, you get to keep more of your income. That's always a good thing. Now, the rest of the rankings aren't as great, but those two are the biggest taxes and hold the most weight. The sales tax is ranked 27th and was just lowered from 4.5% to 4.2%. But it does have a local max rate of 4.5%, with the average being 6.4%. Now, South Dakota does get a lot of tourists, so this is one of the factors in the high sales tax. With Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills Motorcycle Rally in Sturgis bringing in millions and millions of tourists who help lower the residents' tax bill. In fact, the sales tax in the Black Hills is usually raised a week before the rally until a week after the rally to tax those bikers visiting. That's pretty smart if you ask me. South Dakota has the 30th lowest property tax and the 35th lowest unemployment insurance tax. Number 1, Wyoming. Now, apparently cowboys don't like taxes. Known as the cowboy state, Wyoming is the best place in the country to live if you hate taxes. I would strongly consider Wyoming to retire if it wasn't for the wind. My wife doesn't do good in the wind, as we found out living on the prairies when I was posted to Manitoba in the Canadian Army. Wyoming is beautiful and just as good as South Dakota if you own a business or are an employee. No state, corporate, or individual income tax, tied for the best in the U.S. There is a sales tax, and it is ranked 7th with a 4% state sales tax and a max local rate of 2%, but the average is 5.36%. Wyoming is 34th in property tax and 23rd in unemployment insurance. That equals the number 1 tax state with the lowest tax burden required of its residents. Honorable mentions to a couple of M states, with Michigan number 11 and Missouri number 12, and Tennessee and Texas who don't make the list but have no individual state income tax, which is the tax that affects most people. Washington State also has no income tax. However, they do levy a capital gains tax on certain high earners. So, would you ever consider moving money to save money on taxes? Please let me know in the comments and subscribe to my channel for more videos on the great and not so great places in America.
Saving money on taxes is important, but you know what else is important? Saving money on the cost of living and housing affordability. If you want to find out more on that, check out this video.